Guys, did you like all our stories?
That was awesome.
We just told all of them.
Good job. Good job, us.
Well, good night.
The big
Good
red
night.
circle with the microphone and the line through it. Not a single one of us were like, maybe that means that we're. I thought that was too muted.
Yeah.
Why would it start? You know what? This one's on you, Google. This one's on you.
Don't
No,
blame
this
Google.
is Google's fault. I'm calling them out. Why would the broadcast start with it muted? Why would they do that?
Anyway.
Why would you do that to us, Google?
We just talked to ourselves for a while.
It's a good solid 5 minutes.
I'm so happy when people.
Hands moving.
Yep, go leave booze.
Laughing a lot.
We laughed. We were having a good time. We had a good time. I'm Courtney. I'm from the Double X Files. This is
Alison,
who is from
the Double X Files.
And Mike actually spent this whole time listing exactly what he does and went on a huge rant about him being praised. So we will just praise Mr. Mike.
Mike's great.
Yay! He does many things.
I'll take it.
And what was the latest podcast you released? Rebel or
well,
what was the last one?
Most recent episode that would have gone up would have been yesterday morning, and that would have been Rebels.
Rebels. Okay, that's what I thought. So listen to us, Double X Files. This guy everywhere, but especially Rebels. That just came out yesterday, and you can listen to us now because now we have sound.
Yay!
It's all about spooky, doopy ghost stories because it's close to Halloween. So the three of us have either ghost stories we've encountered or ghost stories we've heard or ghost stories we've just made up. Who knows? Because it's Halloween and anything can happen.
Yeah, you tell us.
Yeah, you tell. Yeah,
you decide.
Two truths and a lie?
Sure.
Is that what you play? Oh.
That's an interesting way to do this.
Two truths and a lie?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know who is the truther and who is the lying, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
It's a thing that's going to happen. Do you want me to start?
No, let's save you for last because I think that you have the spookiest of the spooks.
Do you think?
I think so.
Okay.
You've been like hyping it up all night. So.
Because I said this certain story. I'm not going to give any hints because you got to wait till the end.
Oh my god.
Is one of the stories that has kept me awake at night in terms of camping out in the woods, but also just in my entire childhood. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Should we lower down the lights? Can we
I can try it. We'll see. Let's see what it looks like if we turn the lights.
Should we get like a flashlight? Let's see. Ooh, yeah. Now you can see I wonder
if this works.
Let's see.
Does my lantern work? No, my lantern's busted.
Oh.
No.
I do have.
Yeah, flashlight.
This flashlight's hardcore though.
I like it though. I like it. Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
This is like Scully and Mulder level of flashy lights.
Oh, this is.
Whoa. That's a little bit much.
I'll hold it to my leg. We're just gonna be doing this for an hour.
It's actually really just like lighting up the whole room.
Yeah, it is. It's great. I'll keep it like that.
Okay.
I like.
Okay, so who's gonna go first? I guess I'll go first.
Okay, you go first. Okay.
Okay.
Wait, can you just do one of these for like posterity?
Okay.
Just one of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, God, guys.
Worth it.
Blinded. Okay. Okay. So I don't know how actually spooky this is. I don't have a specific story, but I'll more try and just paint the picture for everybody.
The spooky picture.
I used to live. I now live in Vancouver, but I used to live in the Okanagan, which is in the interior of BC, in Penticton. Penticton, it's got a lot of houses that are in the 100-year-old range.
Ooh.
Right, and they tend to be pretty cool houses. They'll sort of. Unique and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody's ever been in a really old house, which on the West Coast we actually don't have.
You don't have, yeah.
Because everybody kind of started on the East Coast. So I think like people in like the Eastern provinces or the Eastern states, they're probably more used to this sort of thing. But people in especially I think the Pacific Northwest. This is a little bit more of like a weird, strange, spooky thing.
Which is weird because we were talking about on the East Coast.
Yeah.
You actually on your Ritter, if you sell your house, you have to include any paranormal activity on it. It's a standard
that's
thing.
like nobody buys anything in this city with it going like, are there ghosts? Do you have ghosts?
No.
No,
Yeah.
but
is that weird? Whoa.
but in Penticton there are some older houses, and it's sort of because Penticton was sort of, I mean it kind of already existed, because with the First Nations people and all that, but ignoring actual history and just counting white people, it was settled sort of like in that Wild West era. Right, so which maybe a little bit later than that, like sort of the early 1900s, that sort of era. And so we lived in a house. We only lived there for 3 months before I moved back down to Vancouver.
Okay.
So it was like it was the last 3 months of grade 12, and this house. The first creepy thing that I noticed about it.
Yeah.
Actually, this might not even be the first creepy thing. This was probably a little bit later. I'll sort of tell this part first and then go back.
Okay.
You're living in a creepy house when the basement is dirt floor.
Oh God,
that's intense.
Which, like, especially in Vancouver, we don't get a lot of that because if you're anywhere near the water, you probably don't even have a basement. Like if you live in Richmond, which is one of our suburbs, like there no basements, no basements at all, because you're technically in like swampland.
Yeah,
like sort of like reclaimed, like there it's behind a dike and everything. So so if you dig down deep enough, it just gets wet. Like you can't have a basement there. So yeah, like even having a basement in the first place in Vancouver is a weird thing. But I don't know that I've met anybody in this city who's got like a dirt floor basement.
I think you're right. That's like an older thing.
It's like super old, right? And that's it's sort of like I don't know, like I'm always reminded of like I think it's Goodfellas, where they're like digging up somebody's
I was just gonna say
basement.
You can pretty much hide a body there quite easily.
Exactly, because like unless somebody connects you to the murder, they don't
Who knows what's in your basement.
In your basement.
Oh my God.
And so like that's your business down there, right?
Your dirt business.
in your dirt cellar. So so that was one of the things that made me go like, this place is creepy. There's something different about this house than any other place that I've ever lived in my life. It was also like a 100-year-old house.
Yeah.
And so the first night that I slept there.
And you're grade 12.
Grade 12, yeah. So a couple of my friends, Josh and Katie and Sam, they helped us move. And the first night, like not everything's moved in yet, but somebody's got to stay there, right? Because there's all the stuff in the house.
Yeah,
so you don't want to leave it empty, especially when you've been moving, because somebody will like target the house, right? Mm-hmm. So myself and Josh and Sam and Katie, we say, okay, we're gonna spend the night here. We'll guard it. Yeah, we're gonna guard the house. So there's we had like a TV. We basically all slept in the living room on 2 mattresses side by side, because like nothing had been like put in place. Mm-hmm. So we just had like the 2 mattresses side by side, and the TV. And so we were in grade 12, so we stay up late, just gabbing like gals.
Watching. I don't know what's in the zoo. What movie came out? Super Troopers, Zoolander?
Sure. Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah. Something stupid.
Actually, we were probably watching something much older than that.
Yeah, probably.
We were probably like being nerds.
You were over the 90s.
Yeah. But it was like, you stay up super late.
Yeah.
Because it's just a bunch of teenagers.
Yeah.
Getting up to no good shenanigans. And at one point, so Josh and Sam, were dating.
Yeah.
And the two of them go upstairs.
This is getting juicy.
Yeah. See, this is a legit story.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
They go upstairs.
This is how people die in murder movies.
Exactly, and like slashers and stuff, right? So like they'd only been dating for a little while, but there was a whole will they won't they thing with the two of them. Also,
We're gonna have another round table on that.
I'm speaking a little bit out of school here, but not really, because everybody in the high school knew what was going on. So the two of them go like upstairs, and Katie and I are sitting there, and we're like, oh, it's so obnoxious.
Young love.
And so it's just like basically silent. Katie and I are just like sitting there watching TV, or maybe we were just talking, but then like started hearing like creaking sound. Right? And you're like, and sort of like water flowing, but not just like sort of like the sound of water going through pipes.
Not like toilet flushing water.
No, but like somebody like turning the taps on, like legit turning the taps on, and then like off, and then a couple minutes later like on again, and then off, and it's like, what are they doing up there? Like what are they getting up to?
Those two.
And it was like, you want to go up there and see what they're doing? I don't want to go up there. That's gross. I don't want to. Right? So
they might be kissing.
Yeah, like God, we don't even want to know. And this kind of like went on, like sort of creaking, like sounds of like doors opening. And I'm like, this doesn't necessarily all sound like it's coming from upstairs.
No.
Like that's the thing, is that it's just kind of like around the house. And so they eventually come back downstairs. Are like, what were you guys doing? They're like, what were you guys doing? Like, I thought that was just like the washroom or whatever. And it's like, no, we've been sitting here the whole time.
Oh, so they heard it too.
So they heard it too, and they were like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, and so we kind of had this moment where we all looked at each other and we're like, okay, this is a little
Zoink
spooky.
Scoob?
Yeah, and it totally was. I mean, like, that's totally the sort of vibe. We just needed a talking cartoon dog.
Now, at this point in your group, in your Scooby gang, do you investigate or do you just like hide under the covers?
So at this point, this is so foggy because it's all kind of like it's coming back to me as I tell the story. We all kind of like dismiss it. It's like, oh well, there's no such thing as good ghosts, right? and we kind of go back to it. I just kind of hanging out, talking, watching a movie or something like that. And eventually we decide, like, oh, okay, like it's like 1 a.m, like maybe later than that. Let's go to sleep. We gotta finish moving stuff tomorrow. So we kind of all start to go to sleep, and then Sam and Josh, they're making out. They're not sleeping. They're just making out.
Oh boy,
those two.
And it's just like you can just like hear it. And eventually, I think I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go upstairs and sleep upstairs. So I took like 2 couch cushions and like took them upstairs with a blanket, and I was just like, I've had enough of this nonsense. And went upstairs.
And obviously you're not ghost scared yet because you are separated from the group now.
Yeah.
And that's not a good situation.
It's just like, oh, that was weird.
Yeah, okay.
And it wasn't like, so I go upstairs and I went upstairs and I went to sleep and we woke up the next morning and it wasn't really until like later that week that it was like, man, there's some weird stuff going on in that house, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not just me. Like it was weird, right? And as I lived there over the course of the next 3 months, man, it was creepy. It was a creepy house.
What was your like top 3, top 2, like the thing that you say now you look back and you say, something has to be wrong? What was like the
slamming doors?
Yeah.
Like doors that would not necessarily slam, like not violently slam, but doors that would audibly close when you knew you were the only person in the house.
Oh,
which is like the worst, right?
Yeah,
it is.
That
the
is
worst.
the absolute worst because
It
you're
is
just
the
like,
worst.
if something kills me right now, there's nobody to even like get scared by it.
Now, is
like
there
somebody will just come home and I'll just be like blood coming out of my head.
was there a point where it's someone else, like a physical person, but then it's like, no, this is maybe something else? Or was it just all like, this is crazy?
It was just like, it just creepy. Like I don't know. There was also just like never a sense of being alone in the house.
Oh God.
Right? Even when you were by yourself, there was always like this feeling of someone else being there.
Oh my God.
And it was like to give you more of an idea, like it had the dirt basement.
Yeah.
It also had a smoking room.
That's
right?
awesome. That is awesome.
like it actually had like the separate room. And I remember when we moved in and my dad and I were kind of walking through it and like, where are we going to put some stuff? We were only there for 3 months. It was sort of like that, like they were selling the house that we had been living in for like 2 years, and we were leaving to like, the plan was already in place. Like my mom had a job lined up in Vancouver, and I was going to school in September and all that sort of thing down in Vancouver. So it was like, we just need a place for me to finish high school. So we never really unpacked. Like we never really moved in.
I had a moment like that in my life. Yeah.
But like, so me and my dad are kind of like walking through the house, and it was like, you sort of come in there was like a covered patio off of the front, and then you come in and there's a washroom on one side, long hallway, staircase going up, like sort of like an open staircase, right? And then on this side you would go, it was like glass doors, like what's like French doors.
Yeah.
And then on like in that room, which was sort of like a corner, like you go in one and then come out like sort of the other side, was also like double French doors. And I was like, wow, I've never lived in a house with a room like this. And my dad was like, oh, this is a smoking room. Like this is the room where you would have like your humidor and your you keep your cigars and your pipe tobacco and like a rocking chair. And,
Nice.
And old dudes would come and sit in here and smoke cigarettes and cigars and stuff and
just chit chat.
And just hang out, because they didn't have TV. So like people had to like amuse themselves or something. I don't even know.
Crazy.
Yeah, kind of ridiculous. But that was sort of one of the things that like that and the basement was like, this house is super old. And the standout creepiest element of this house is that, so on one side you've got like, you come in the entrance and you've got the stairs that go up. Yeah. On the other, like the wall adjacent to the stairs was just floor to ceiling mirror.
That's amazing.
And
wow.
And it was just like, so every time you came down the stairs,
oh my God,
it was like what's the like, you turn around 3 times and don't look in the mirror.
Oh, Bloody Mary,
right?
Yeah.
So there was always like that sort of a feeling of like
something. Oh,
are you gonna see something?
Yeah, I'm okay. Like by about like 2 months, I knew like this place is haunted. Like there's something here. Yeah, we got like 3 or 4 weeks left. There's something here, and I just need to not piss it off, because like in my family, I'm the only one who's gonna believe something like that. Like I'll tell you another story in a second, but like my mom kind of like, because she also has very strong beliefs and that sort of thing. And so does my dad, but he's less inclined to like sort of believe in like supernatural stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm the only one who's like, no, like there are so many unexplained things, and I you know, like I've always been, we talked about it on the cryptids episode.
Yeah, we did.
And it's something that I've just always been fascinated with, reading like unexplained mystery books and stuff like that.
Yeah. Those are the best and the worst.
Yeah,
because they terrify me.
And so like I'm the only one who's even gonna like entertain. Like I'm sure if any of my family watches this, they'll be like, that place wasn't haunted. It just had creaky floors and old pipes. Settling. And it's like, no. The water would turn on, like legit turn on, and then turn off, and doors would close without. And like I have watched enough episodes of Paranormal State to know what's going on. Okay,
ghost hunters.
Yeah, like it was not like, this is the thing, is that it was a spirit. Yeah, like I'm convinced, right? Like, because I believe that this stuff is real. It was a spirit. Probably it's like somebody deceased that probably died in the house that never never moved on, that never went to whatever
taking their bath.
Yeah, exactly.
Going
and so
to
like
smoke
they're
their
just
room.
like the thing with that is that like they just go about their lives.
Yeah,
They don't know that they're dead. It's one of my favorite movies of all time is The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. Peter Jackson movie.
It's always
so
on my
good.
Halloween list.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a perfect Halloween movie, and that's like sort of one of the things that they talk about in that. And then like a lot, Paranormal State, which used to be on A&E, was like when it was on. That was one of my favorite shows. I love that show, because they would go into this stuff like it was science, not like it was not like Ghost Hunters, where it's like we're gonna try and capture a ghost on film for legit, real serious, bros. And then they like
anger,
shotgun
whatever.
a Red Bull, right?
Yeah.
But no, this was more like the main guy, like the leader of it. Did you ever watch it?
No, I have never watched
seen
it, but I will now.
You should look into it, because the main guy, he basically grew up in like a haunted house, and weird stuff happened when he was a kid.
So this is like your calling, man.
Like demon possession.
Oh my God.
Like that. Like he's got all this experience with all sorts of stuff.
That's awful.
So he sort of like wants to explain all this paranormal stuff. So like they have always approached it with like there are rules to this. Like there's logic to it. There are tests that we can do. There are things that you know and you don't know that can tell, like sort of checklists that'll tell you like, oh, this is this, or this is something else altogether. Like, is this just a deceased person, a spirit, or is this something else? Like, is this something more fiendish? Is it like some sort of a demon or some sort of a dark spirit or something? And so using that knowledge that I attained after the fact, I've sort of like gone back in my head and gone like, no, like this is very clearly just somebody who died in the house or nearby or something, who just had such a strong connection to it that they've just never.
And it's not harmful. You never thought it was harmful.
No, like
it's just there.
It never felt threatening.
Okay.
It never felt scary.
That's good.
It was always just a little bit unnerving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to be in the house by yourself was always just a little bit unnerving.
Yeah.
And it was never something that I enjoyed.
No,
and the animals would spook. The animals would spook a lot. Like we had 2 cats and a dog.
Yeah.
And they would react to things that weren't there. And cats are always like the best indicator. If you think you live in a haunted house,
put a cat in there,
and you don't have any pets, get yourself a cat right now. And I believe that black cats are probably the most attuned to it because for obvious reasons, right?
Yeah.
And just watch their behavior. If they hiss at nothing, if they'll just like jump, you know how like a cat will just be walking and then it'll just like jump into the air.
Dutch did that thing the other day. Remember when we were recording the Double X Files and she goes,
oh yeah, she's just running back and forth.
Yeah. I don't know.
You guys.
All right, look, get yourself an EMF. Take some
some
EVR.
Yeah,
it's electronic voice recording, and see if
slow it down.
Yeah, you gotta slow it down. You gotta pitch it up.
I have a question.
I can do all of that, by the way. I have the audio software to do it.
We should just go to your house and be our own ghost hunters.
How would you feel, Alison, if you found out that you did live in a haunted house?
I'd be down with it.
Yeah, you'd be okay.
Yeah.
We do call it the murder manor.
Yeah, we do call it
murder
that.
manor
because it is quite murdery.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for both of you.
Okay.
Like talking about haunted houses and ghost hunters and that technology.
Yeah.
Would you go along with because we have one in Vancouver, a couple in Vancouver. Would you go along with some ghost hunters and kind of spend the night?
I would never spend the night.
Yeah, spending the night is not on the table.
No?
But I don't know. We were talking about it before we started.
Yeah.
And
it was on mute.
Even before that, I'm a good Christian boy, and I believe in God. I have my own set of beliefs. I'm not necessarily stuck in my ways or set in any one particular belief system, but I believe in God. I believe in a higher power, something. And I believe that there's not necessarily a consciousness to it, but that our consciousness kind of comes out of that. And so like it's a two-way street. And if there are malevolent forces, there are like if you believe in one side,
if there's one side, there has to be something. There has to be balance.
So, it works both ways. So if you believe in God and angels, and I love saying this to like hardcore Christians. So I'm always interested to see how they react. If you believe in God and you believe in angels and you believe in all of that side of Christian mythology, which, as Kevin Smith wrote in Dogma, God hates it when you refer to it that way. But if you believe in all that Christian mythology, all of the lore that goes along with it, you have to believe in the opposite side, which is the demons and dark spirits
and the spooks
and all the spooky stuff. Spooky, scary skeletons and all that.
which is
so,
yeah.
So I feel like I am well versed enough. Not saying that I'm an expert in anything, but I'm well versed enough to know the proper way spiritually and psychologically to approach a situation like that. So I know that if I went into a haunted house, that I would be, by my measure, protected against it. Right?
Okay.
I know that
you feel safe.
Yeah.
And no, okay.
Yeah, I know the correct Jedi mantras to ward off any.
You said you wouldn't stay there.
I wouldn't stay there. Yeah, I would never put myself in a position where my guard is lowered.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know, but like not without first doing my due diligence on that sort of thing. It's like that house that I lived in. I don't know that I'd necessarily have a problem going back to it. Because I don't feel like there was ever anything.
Felt okay.
Yeah, but the other part of it is that I've watched enough episodes of Paranormal State that I'm pretty sure that I could exorcise that house. That I could solve that problem.
That feels better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That feels better. Yeah.
It's super easy. You just get 4 St. Michael coins.
Yeah.
With the Archangel St. Michael. And you just go to the 4 corners of the property. You dig a little hole. You put it in the hole. You say a little prayer. You cover it back up with dirt. You do rinse and repeat 3 more times, and you're good to go. Like theoretically, that should protect any property.
Now
right?
you know, friends. If you do have a haunted house, we have someone who can take care of that for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I'm not certified or anything.
No. But who is certified nowadays?
Well, the guys from Paranormal State, they were legit ghost dealers with, and there's an element to it that's so close to Ghostbusters that's probably the biggest reason why I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? But I always want to lean to I'm like Mulder, right? Like I want to believe. I always want to lean to the side of...
you're less of a wiener than Mulder.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. It's hard
we can talk to you.
By default. Yeah, I'm not just like, it's real, Courtney. Hey, it's real.
Okay. Thank you for the close talking.
Yeah. I just got to get right up.
You got to just like
business in order to convince them.
God. And do you have like
no
slides
inappropriate
ready?
Touching.
Oh my God.
Man.
Right?
It's called consent, Mulder.
Right?
Figure it out. Unbelievable.
But
you know what? It's only like that's why we're this is a slight tangent.
It's okay. We're from the Double X Files. It's fine.
Yeah. That's why previous to that, like Mulder never had a partner, but Scully is the only one who can put up with him because every look she gives him is you don't understand what's coming.
I know.
Yeah. It's the 90s. It's the early 90s. So like we're in early days of this, but this nonsense will not be tolerated for much longer. So go ahead, Mulder. Get it out of your system. Because when we come back for the revival, I better not see any of it.
Oh my God.
Right? That's sort of like every look she gives him is that.
Close talking situation has to be
every look is just like the patriarchy.
Yeah, she keeps us alive.
Yeah, no,
she keeps us
going. Serious.
Okay. So, haunted houses.
Yeah.
You know what to do with them. It's okay. Sometimes the ghosts aren't there to hurt you. Sometimes they're just
It's not always
there.
bad. It's not always bad. If a ghost is just stacking glasses in your kitchen,
That's a helpful ghost.
But you know what? Like, here's the thing. Here's the other caveat. Like, I just said, like, oh, I think I have enough knowledge to deal with this.
Yeah.
Don't ever go out there and try any of this stuff yourself, because we were also talking about Ouija boards.
Oh yeah.
Before that, like, here's the deal. If there's already something in your house or somewhere, a church, whatever, like you think that you are experiencing something paranormal, something supernatural, don't take it upon yourself to mess with that.
Don't make it angry.
Well, because A, you don't want to make that spirit angry, because trying to get rid of it might do that, especially if you don't approach it in the right way, because it, like, there's a way to go about it that deals with it. It's like the difference between a humane trap and you know, like a mouse trap that's gonna snap the neck of a mouse, right? Like, you could, like, macing a bear, you know, will probably deal with it, but make sure that your mace can is full, because if you just spritz it a little bit, you might just piss the bear off. Yeah. Right. So
we don't want evil ghost bears.
Being properly prepared, which usually means knowing that you're out of your depth, is the most important part of dealing with something like that. So if you think that you've got something going on in your house, like that, you know, you're dealing with vertical stacking, which Ray Stantz warns us about. Which is a legit thing. Like, people will wake up in the morning and their dishes have just been taken out of the cupboards and stacked, or like glasses and tables and chairs.
Means you got a real helpful ghost.
Well, sometimes it's a real.
Or they're real. They're just anal. They just really
you know, if they're dusting while they're doing
that'd be great.
That's fine. But
clean my toilet. Ghosts, come at me.
But so one of the best examples of dealing with it incorrectly to begin with is in the movie Poltergeist, right? Like, the ghost starts out, like, there's a couple of ghosts there that start out totally harmless. They're just stacking chairs, just sort of, you know, like doing weird little spooky things, little creepy stuff. But then it's sort of as they try and get rid of the ghosts, then
it gets crazy.
More problems start to happen.
It's like pulling you out of your home.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like this is the thing, is you don't want to try and like destroy a spirit or like remove it from the grounds. What you want to do is you want to help it on its way. Right? Like, that's the thing, is that you want to help it recognize that it's somewhere that it shouldn't be, and that it needs to move on to whatever's next, right? Whatever you believe, however that works. Which we're all probably wrong anyways, so
who knows?
Doesn't really matter. But just like sort of helping it move to that next stage and deal with that aspect. Because if you go in there and you try and remove something forcefully, it'll probably fight back forcefully.
Oh yeah.
Right?
We don't want that.
So don't mess with that. The other thing you might do is that if you sort of subscribe to the theory that it could be, you know, a supernatural thing, that could be just straight up science, and this could be another dimension that, like, it's just, you know, it's thin in that part. You might, by doing something, you might weaken an already weak point, which we learn in the television series Fringe not to mess with.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Because you could end up destroying two worlds if you're really an idiot like
this got real heavy.
Yeah, it's so that's the way it goes, right? Like Walter, right? Because he messes up.
Oh yeah, he ruins everything.
Two dimensions and almost destroys both. So you want to make sure that you're not messing with things that you don't understand. And yet, like, this is the thing, is that you need to recognize the things that you don't know anything about, because it's so easy to think that you're an expert about something if you know very little about it. You don't know how much you don't know.
Yeah.
And I'll just warn people that there's a lot to it.
So
it's a deep thing. You might let something in. You might make yourself vulnerable to something. You might end up possessed by a demon, and you don't want that.
No one wants that. No one wants that.
No.
So if now our first lesson is sometimes friendly ghosts, sometimes not so friendly, whatever. But don't mess.
Be cool.
Be cool with
it.
Be cool with it. Okay. Time for story number 2. Oh my God, that's really bright. Time for story number 2. Now you have to do the spooky thing.
Ow.
Yay. Okay, I'll take it.
Okay. So my story is actually a friend's story, so I don't have a ton of details, and also I'm not so sure I buy it.
Would you say it's a true story? It happened to a friend of yours?
I don't know if I would say it's a true story, but I would say it happened to a friend of a friend.
Would you say it is a story?
Yeah, it's definitely a story.
Okay.
Just for those who don't know, for our American and international viewers who will watch this, that was a reference to a Canadian children's program, Freaky Stories.
Yes.
On YTV.
Oh boy.
Every story always ended with true story. It happened to a friend of mine. It's always somebody with a weird like East Coast accent.
Yeah.
I
Never
did
quite
not
able to-
watch that one.
Really?
No?
I was Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh,
Which
yeah.
messed
So
me
it
up.
was part of
seriously.
the Friday night block
Yeah.
with Are You Afraid of the Dark? And
Oh,
Goosebumps.
see, I didn't.
It was in between the two shows,
Oh.
and so you were forced to watch it. Freaky Stories was by far the most
All I
weak of
remember
those
is,
three
that.
shows.
I only remember the one where
Goosebumps
the
is where it's
cheerleader has a beehive full of bees.
Yeah,
and they get into her brain.
But
Yeah.
it's a true story.
Yeah, it happened to a friend of his.
Ah,
Yeah.
jeez.
And it was hosted by a little puppet maggot.
Yeah.
Who would, do the
Oh,
interstitials between it. Yeah.
Canada was weird.
We are
Nostalgia.
90s kids.
Yeah.
I know, but
Hardcore.
I grew up in the States, so
Yeah.
instead of that, I had Are you Afraid of the Dark and
Yeah.
Ghost Rider. Do you remember Ghost Rider?
I do remember Ghost
Ghost Rider.
Rider
We had Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Not
on
as spooky.
PBS.
Yeah. Do you remember the purple thing in the Ghost Rider? Purple slime monster.
Not really.
Okay, that ruined
No.
me. That ruined
Ruined
it.
you.
Ruined. Okay, this is a true story.
Yeah.
It happened to a friend of a friend. Go.
So this is a bit more East Coast spooks.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say specifically a haunting. I'll let you guys be the judge as to whether or not it was a haunting.
Yeah.
So yeah, a friend of mine that lives in Waterloo, Ontario.
Is this Meg?
It's not Meg.
Oh.
No, Meg. I'm sure Meg would love for this to happen to her. Moved into was renting a super old house.
Yeah.
And they were her and some of her roommates. I think she had two or three roommates.
Yeah.
They were really.
Whoops.
Oh jeez. Oh, that scared me.
Did I scare you?
Yeah.
I was trying to get into the chat.
Oh.
Okay.
Go ahead. Continue.
That scared the crap out of
Are
me.
you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay,
I'm here for you, man.
Okay.
So they were really stoked about this super old house because, well, for the same reason I was stoked about Murder Manor, because it's cool to live in an old house, and they got a really great deal on it because I guess the previous renters had broken their lease early and moved out.
Because it's okay. Yeah.
So they move in. My friend has this bedroom on the third floor. Yeah, there were 3 floors.
Yeah.
She has a bedroom on the 3rd floor. Her other roommate is below her on the 2nd floor. And they have like a pretty good time there. They're not that, nothing really overtly creepy happens.
Yeah.
But one day they hear a noise inside the wall. Like something has dropped from a great height and fallen all the way down.
Oh,
like
that's not good.
Slowly or just
quickly, like something would naturally drop.
Okay.
And it sounds like metal because it hits the bottom
Yeah.
and there's an echo. And they're like, well, that's weird. 'Cause
Okay.
That shouldn't be like that.
Okay.
The house has been not really redone, but obviously whoever owns it has tried to make it a bit nicer. They put up new wallpaper and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, that's weird. And they start knocking on the walls and they realize that it's, it sounds like a bit more hollow than it should.
Yeah.
So they pulled down the wallpaper because they're like, well, damage deposit, deposit. We're university students.
Yeah.
So they pull off the wallpaper in her room on the 3rd floor, and behind there's the opening for a dumbwaiter.
That's never good.
Yeah. And so her roommate beneath her on the 2nd floor, they open it up in the same spot because they have the same wall.
Yeah.
And there's another opening for that same dumbwaiter.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, well, this is super cool.
Yeah.
And
it is kind of cool, but in a spooky way. Whoa.
Yeah. So
Okay.
they pull it all the way up because I guess it was at the bottom.
Yeah.
Although they didn't find the opening at the bottom ever because the basement was always locked.
Okay.
It wasn't part of their rental.
Yeah.
Which
Also
is
spooky.
the same way that my house is.
Yeah.
It's not that weird. So they pull it all the way up and they're like, okay, well, here's a cool thing because I can send things from my room to your room and you can send things from your room to my room.
Yeah.
Because they thought there was probably another opening in the kitchen, but they didn't want to tear up more wallpaper.
Yeah.
They're like, this is all we need. So what they do is the one girl's in the 3rd bedroom. third floor bedroom, my friend, and that her roommate is in the second floor bedroom. And they're like, well, I'm going to send something down to you just so we can make sure it works. And she grabs like a stuffed animal and she puts it in. And she's like not super paying attention. So she's pulling the ropes to make it go because it's not like an electric one. You have to pull the ropes. And she's not paying attention. So she sends it up instead of down. And the friend is like, well, where is it? Like nothing's coming down.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh no, shit, I made it go up. And it hits the top. She's like, okay, well, I'll just bring it back down. She brings the dumbwaiter back down and it's empty.
That's not good.
No. So they're like, well, that's weird. But maybe it like tips at the top.
Maybe it fell. Yeah.
It's not like
maybe there's a ghost dimension.
Yeah. I mean, we don't like have an attic.
Paranormal activity, ghost dimension.
Oh, there's no attic.
This Friday.
Not that they know of.
Okay.
Or not that they have access to, I guess. So they're like, okay, well, that's weird. So
That's so creepy. Okay.
It's not good.
So the next thing they do, probably well regarded as a mistake, is they take a banana.
Oh, you don't want to start introducing organic things into it.
No.
That's
And
not
I'm
good.
like, well, what if it falls up there? It just stays there forever and it like rots. So they put a banana in and they wheel it up and they wait for about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And when they bring it back down, banana peel. And they moved out the next day.
Banana peel? Banana peel, people. Banana peel. That is like, that is a perfectly crafted spooky story. I'm creeped out right now. Courtney is broken.
I don't like dumbwaiters
Courtney's
to begin
broken.
with.
Anyways, they were just immediately like, well, I guess we understand why the
it.
previous people cut their lease and we're also out of here.
Do you think it was?
That's not good.
You know those stories of someone living in your house?
I love those stories.
I hate those. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Someone lives in your house and you don't know they live in your house.
Yeah, like you find a secret door and there's like a room in there with like a sleeping bag and candy
Oh,
wrappers.
yeah.
And that happens to people. That's like a real
For
thing.
real.
That's not an urban myth. That's a real thing. And it scares the crap out of me. You think that might have been it? Like someone.
Well, I
living
feel
in
like
That's a very Scully way of looking at it, and like it's funny that like that's your
But
first reaction. Is like, could there be a logical explanation?
No.
And my first reaction was like, there's something wrong with that house, and someone should deal with it.
But what
Because banana peel. She
That's
said
still
banana peel.
banana peel, yeah, banana eaten.
Oh,
I don't know if
man.
it was eaten. I don't know what
just
happened to it.
taken.
But just it's
Gone.
taken. And just the peel.
Because
Something with fingers did something.
oh
to that
no!
banana.
Don't say those fingers.
Well, because how else would you peel it?
Exactly.
With your
right?
mouth?
Well, but it was
It
like,
has a mouth as well now. Oh.
The least scary thing that could be going on there is that it was a raccoon, because raccoons have fingers.
raccoons. That is,
And I don't know that I've ever seen a raccoon peel a banana, but I can imagine a raccoon peeling a
someone
banana.
Google that right now.
Yeah.
and
if
link
it was
it.
a raccoon, would it put the peel back in the dumbwaiter?
But that's the thing, right? Is that like what raccoon is conscientious about garbage, right? They tend to be the opposite. They're just kind of like leave it, like play the ball where it lies, sort of animals, right? So it's like I'm gonna put this back where it came from. No, that's not how a raccoon would operate.
Or maybe
That is
they
most certainly what a ghost.
or maybe they opened it in the dumbwaiter and they're like, oh fuck, I got a banana, so I'm gonna go over here in my little nest.
I just
Hopefully.
I wish that
That's
they
crazy.
had stayed and done more experiments, but I understand why they didn't.
No, you get out. You leave. Banana peel. Pack your bags.
Would you
That's
have
not-
written a note?
That's not.
Would you have written a note?
Oh yeah.
No, because now we're
probably
getting
would.
into Ouija
Yeah,
board
yeah,
territory.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that is Ouija board
Like
territory.
that's the sort of thing where you're like, then, like the banana peel, like the stuffed animal. First of all, like that was an accident.
Yeah,
So,
you
like,
could say it's an accident.
the intention there is okay. Like you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a dumbwaiter. Let's play with the dumbwaiter. But you send it up and set it down. That was an accident. The banana peel, you're starting to mess with stuff.
Yeah, because you're like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. Like this is a hypothesis, and you're adding in extra variables.
You wouldn't write like "you okay, bro" on a piece of paper.
No,
You okay, bro?
You have a bathroom.
because what if it says no?
Oh no!
Right?
What if it says no?
What if it writes back not a bro?
Not a bro.
I am
Then
no
I'd
bro.
be, I am no.
Yeah.
Then I'd
Not
be cool
your,
with it.
I'm not your bro.
I'm not your bro.
Not your bro.
Bro, buddy.
Right?
I'm not your guy,
Right.
pal. I'm not your guy.
Exactly.
That is creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I apologize. I knew that would really wig you out.
That's a good one though.
Yeah.
I hate dumbwaiters.
I was like, tell me.
Yeah, they're always bringing you the wrong soup.
Hey,
The servants always put the wrong accoutrement.
She didn't get it.
What? No.
Dumb waiter.
dumb waiter.
They're bringing you the wrong
It's a
soup.
pun, man. You love puns.
It wasn't
Dun dun dun.
fun. Okay.
Yeah, that's my
Is it
spooky
time?
story. Yeah.
Where are we at?
That's
So
pretty
we're at 8:00.
Yeah.
We technically have an hour left.
Or we just cut it short. Who
Or
knows?
we just cut it short. But Courtney, is your spooky story? You're done, right?
It
Okay.
can
That's my
be
whole
as
deal.
long or as short as you'd like.
Yeah.
You're very good at that.
I know. I really like it.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I like detail. I'm gonna
Okay.
scoot you a little bit though.
I don't. I want to be away from banana peel over here.
Well, too bad, because you're in my shot.
Okay.
Blocking my face.
That's a moneymaker.
Yeah, that's
This-
what people are here for.
Let's praise Mike's face a little bit more.
Got a great face.
Yeah, guys. That's
very
a face.
symmetrical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very symmetrical.
Yeah.
Except for my beard, it's a little thicker on one side than
This
the
is
other.
now
It's
beard chat. We
New-
don't have one.
New podcast idea.
Beard chat.
Continue.
Chat.
Okay. I'm still banana man. I don't know.
Banana peel.
I'm gonna have like a reaction, like call it like in the garbage. There's a banana peel. Like it's after me.
Not all banana. It wasn't.
Not
a
all bananas.
You might be
I'm not
Hashtag
banana.
not all banana.
Not banana.
Courtney, you might be misunderstanding that story. The banana peel itself is not scary. It's what the banana peel implies that's scary.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, I feel better now. Okay.
Go ahead. Continue.
Okay.
Tell your story.
So, I am halvesy American. I grew up in the States.
But we won't hold that against you.
That's okay. Hey,
Actually, I'm half American as well.
Oh, there you go.
So
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah, because my dad's American, and my most recent trip down to the States.
Yeah.
I because I was going down for a family gathering, and
Yeah.
the question came up, "Oh, you have American family?"
Yeah.
And they said, "Are you American?" And I was like, "Well, no, but my dad is." So they were like, "Then you're American."
Yeah.
Not half. I'm American. Like I'm.
They don't like
am-
the dual
Yeah,
citizenship.
I'm both things simultaneously. I'm an American born abroad. All I have to do is fill out some paperwork.
There you go.
But I am technically a full American as
Wow.
Good
far as
job.
America is concerned.
Good
Now
job.
the rest of the world is like, no, you're half American, you're half Canadian. There's nothing wrong. with that.
I adopted. I was adopted into the American.
Okay.
I lived there for so long. That,
Okay.
So I went to school in Washington, more specifically elementary school down on the river, kind of close to Portland, Oregon.
In a van down by the river?
Sometimes, when times were tough. And all we had to eat were banana peels.
It's a different round table.
Yeah, origin stories. In the elementary school I went to, every grade 6 would go on this grand journey to Camp Sispus, and it was in the Willamette kind of river area. If you think of it it's kind of like if you put a line going east from Tacoma, Seattle, and the line going north from Yakima, it's kind of like in the middle right there. So it was quite a good bus
For
ride.
you Pacific Northwest buffs.
Yeah. It was in the woods.
Real specific crowd for that.
It was in the
You
woods.
said you like details.
I do. I love details. I know where you're talking about.
It's important. It's important. It's important to the story. So, I mean, as a grade 6, you really want to go to this camp. It is a couple weeks, and you're in the woods, and you're running around, and you don't have any homework, and you get to touch bugs, and you get to go on hikes.
I would not have enjoyed this trip.
It was super cool. It was really neat. It was like the best time of my elementary school.
It doesn't sound great.
I don't know if you've noticed all the electronics to your left, but dirt's not my thing.
No, I know.
I don't need to touch bugs.
Well,
I
I
know they're
hikes.
creepy. Yeah. Oh, hikes are for
The
granola people.
I like granola.
And Sasquatch. Sasquatch.
Yeah,
likes a
he
good hike,
likes
right?
both. Yeah.
We got a granola person.
The two biggest things in this camp, there's two kind of rites of passage. On the last day you're there, you take a full day's hike to Angel Falls, and you can actually walk underneath the falls. But the other thing is the story that we're all told at the very beginning of camp. And this is the story of the prop man. Now, it doesn't sound very scary because it sounds like a guy backstage handing you props.
Yeah, Carrot Top's going to come perform at your camp.
Yeah, a Carrot Top. Or what were you
He's got
saying?
a big bow tie.
I got Proposition.
Oh yeah, some of the boats on Proposition.
Yeah. Right now, it doesn't sound
This is a
very
politician.
scary. But
She's going to come filibuster for a little while.
when you kind of find out later, it has its prop as in propeller. So
I became instantly upset.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a Mega Man film then.
I wish. And the scariest thing to me actually is I thought it was a camp story. What I'm going to tell you, but you can actually Google it, and it's folklore now in Washington State.
Ugh.
See, you got some after the fact spookies too.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a second, those were ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to read you, when you go on this hike, you're not told kind of what it is, but there's a big piece of metal, rusted, and it's kind of set up on platforms. On your way, I would say 3 hours into this hike.
It's a long hike.
It was a 5-hour hike.
Oh my god.
I was a very chubby young.
Oh.
I was the last in line, and it was awful.
Oh.
So this piece of metal, you don't think about it. You don't really know anything about it. It had a plaque, but you're in grade 6. You don't read history plaques or whatever. Turns out that piece of metal is from a plane. More specifically, a plane crash.
I bet it's a propeller.
It was the side of the plane.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And I'm actually going to read you the plaque that you can actually go see whenever you want. I'm going to read you the plaque that was there. This is on waymarking.com. This is the actual website.
Man, there's a website for everything.
I know, it's great. And this is guys, this is after the fact. I didn't read this when I was a kid.
Yeah.
This is after the fact. Okay. It starts on a stormy night.
Oh, no.
On the stormy night of September 30th, 1944, Flight Crew 22 on a training mission from Walla Walla Army Air Base found itself off course and lost above the rugged Cascade Mountain Range. They were flying a B-24 Liberator heavy bomber. The night was rainy and the valley was enshrouded with a heavy fog. Around 8:00 p.m., the Beehive Lookout reported hearing the drone of plane engines as it passed directly overhead. Within moments, a fire was faintly seen illuminating the fog, alerting the lookout that the plane had probably crashed. Due to the darkness and weather and terrain, search efforts were delayed. The next morning, when a rescue party reached the Rocky Bowl, just 500 feet below the crest of Mission Ridge, where the camp is, just below, they found the flames that had been extinguished by the heavy rainfall from the previous night. Pieces of the wreckage were strewn hundreds of yards across the slope, and bodies of 5 out of 6 of the crew members were found. That's very important.
Yeah, where's that 6th birthday?
There were,
Eating a banana.
but they say,
Oh god.
but it says there were no survivors. And this is USFS Vets of Foreign Wars of the U.S. Mission Ridge Boy Scout Troop number 5. That's who it's sponsored by. So I didn't know this as a kid, but this gives you a little bit
No,
backstory.
you probably would have been calling home.
No,
You would have been like, come get me.
So this
camp is haunted.
this is an actual plane crash,
Yeah.
and the big problem was the one of the pilots of this plane, I want to say pieces were found,
Uh-huh.
but not his torso body thing.
Lovely.
Another big thing was the propeller of the plane. One of the propellers, the one stick, not the whole thing, was gone as well. So we were told on this hike, after we go, past this piece of plain, kind of up in the hilltop, there's a cave there. And it was told to us that the last survivor of this plane crash was driven completely crazy. Had no idea where he was because the propeller was stuck in his head.
I knew it was going to be something like that.
So, and lodged. So, that the kind of like Phineas Gage sort of situation where part of your brain is disturbed.
Yeah.
So you become angry and crazed and you don't know where you are. This man, and he has a name, I couldn't find it. He was a vet, World War II vet. He's still flying in the Air Force. He goes down in the plane, his body's not found, and the propeller's in his head. He survives. And he crawls to this cave up in the woods, just yards from where the plane went down. And they say that his brain is just completely not working with reality. That not only is he still alive, but he is obsessed with finding his crewmates.
Oh my God.
And apparently so much so that he walks for miles trying to find his crewmates. In the 80s, this camp actually closed down because of, I want to say kidnappings, but it was almost like people had gone missing and taken.
I got the creepy crawlies.
I like it.
I looked at you and like the hairs all went. I was like, no, this is not good.
It was always the boys'
I don't
camp.
like it.
It was always the boys' camp. It was always the older boys.
Oh God. Okay.
And it was always the army barracks, like lodge.
Mm-hmm.
So where they used to house the fire, the guys who would fly the fire planes.
Yeah.
So they say that we call him Prop Man because of propellers in his head, would sneak down in search of his crew, take his crew back to the site, and either kill them and try to kind of recreate what happened, or kind of just set them loose and throw them off the Angel Falls. This was in the 80s. When I went there, 90s, the story had passed that Prop Man, of course, passed because he's very old. But now you're dealing with an upset, estranged ghost. So the army barrack where he would visit, they hadn't slept people in there for about 20 years because of those disappearances. But you could still go in, and I'm not joking about this. It was, they set up one of those they covered the ceiling in black, so you could lay down and they would have one of those star machines.
Oh yeah.
So they would teach you about the night sky. But when you went in there and laid down, it felt like you were kind of being held, but not in a nice way.
No good.
Like, not like hugged, but just like, I shouldn't leave here. I shouldn't go. And it's just this thing. And then they would never hold those at night for whatever reason. We were told because kids kind of go weird or whatever. But the scariest thing that happened was, it was the night.
Wait.
What?
This isn't the scariest.
No. This the scariest thing.
Oh no!
I'm just getting
I'm
started.
not prepared.
We're not gonna make it.
I just lived in a house that may or may not have been haunted, and you just you have a friend who had some banana eaten. This is not good.
This
So
is serious biz.
we know at this point, the last night, we took a hike to Angel Falls, and we came back, and we have a big dinner, and this is kind of like a night of goodbyes. And I remember, and our teachers are there, right? Because this is a school trip. I remember kind of sitting. Oh gosh, it must have been outside. I'm going to
postpone my antivirus.
Okay. I want to say it was in one of the arts and crafts kind of things outside of the mess hall. And we're sitting there, we're singing songs. And I'm aware of my teachers being quite panicked. And one of them is going to the other, and then they are going to talk to the head camp counselor, who is a kid. And I see my homeroom teacher going like this.
No.
Oh
no.
Now you know what that means.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
And this is true. I promise you this is true. And it turns out one of our kids is missing. And they were there, and I'm not crapping you guys. They were there for dinner. Somewhere in between dinner and our kind of final sing-along place, they left. And then someone spoke up. I heard he was upset and going back to Angel Falls. And I guess, I don't know if there was rumors of like someone bullying this kid, and they were just upset and they left. They actually had to send out a search party for this kid. It was a couple teachers and out. And apparently they found this kid. And when I saw them, they weren't crying. Like, as a 6-year-old, grade 6, you think if you're lost, if you're on the woods, and this is dark, you'd be sobbing. This kid was not crying at all. And we, the teachers are kind of asking, are you okay? You okay? That's all he does. And when we go back to school, he's not there. He actually leaves the school. And rumors are that this kid was one of those victims of whatever is around this prop man ghost of taking him and taking him out into the woods. But he either escaped or just was left alone. But I actually never saw that kid again. Like, he did not come back to school.
I don't care for that much.
So the prop man's going to get you.
So
The end.
So if you're that kid and you're watching this
really
right now.
That'd be really cool. Andre, if you're listening to this.
Oh, why'd you have to give him a name?
What was his last name? He was always kind of a weird kid.
Just Facebook him.
I don't want to. It's kind of mean.
Oh, okay. And then he got what he deserved.
No. He was always a kind of a quiet kid, and he had friends. I'm not gonna but I think it was from our point of view at first, we thought, oh, he ran away because he was bullied by a kid or something. But he didn't. That was super scary, and it was only me not connecting it with this whole ghost story thing, but now it's that was the craziest trip. And the teachers were so, I'm a teacher now, and I know if I lost a kid, it would be the end of me, right? If I lost a kid, I would just, and seeing their faces about he's missing, we have to go out and find him. And the kids were up till 1 o'clock because they were kind of almost hurting us. They didn't want anyone to go anywhere. We couldn't go back to our dorm rooms. We couldn't go to our beds. They just had us all in one area, almost
T-Rex or a Triceratops kind of surrounding their young sort of situation.
Oh my god.
There are literally dozens of contemporary animals that exhibit that behavior, but you have to go to dinosaurs.
Yeah.
That may or may not have exhibited that behavior. That's not. I mean, there's pretty substantial evidence that they would have, but not necessarily confirmed.
That's what I was a big nerd, so that's what I would think. That's what I thought. I'm like, what? Like, what's going on?
What am I, a baby Stegosaurus? What's going on here?
Triceratops.
Oh, sorry.
So
Jurassic Park was big in the 90s.
Listen well.
Yeah, it was big in the 90s. So looking back on it with perspective, that's incredibly creepy.
Oh my god, yeah.
And not knowing what the I had no idea about this plane crash before Googling it.
You only knew about
so
it.
I only knew about
it was just like, oh, this is a scary ghost story that
It's
they tell at every camp.
Yeah,
Like
every camp.
Every camp's got, you know, if it's a decent camp, it's got like an old legend about something, right?
Yeah.
And just like today, I was doing my report cards, and in our school we have an inspection. I was just like, oh god, what story am I going to tell? And I thought, oh, the prop man, like that's legit campy, spooky.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, I kind of forget how it goes, because all we're told as kids is there's a guy with a propeller in his face and he'll take you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But when I Googled prop man Washington, and this like road marker comes up, and you can actually hike to prop man's cave.
Oh my god.
That's a thing.
No, never go there. Never go there.
It actually tells you where it is. I'll have to look it up.
Ideas.
That scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And
really
now
good.
putting the whole like kid is missing situation, and then that situation in the 80s where the kids were missing.
Yeah, man.
Guys,
It's weird when you remember something and then you start putting it together.
Yeah, I mean,
and
I was
you realize
10, right?
what was actually going on or what may have been going on.
Yeah.
It's like when you watch a movie as a kid. Teen Wolf was on the other day, and I decided to tune in because Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching this movie, and there's the scene, the party scene early in the movie, where they're like pulling people's names out of the bowl, and then you gotta like make out with somebody or eat Jello out of their shirt or whatever. and I'm like as a kid, it was just like, oh, that's what high school parties must be like. Everybody's just having fun. As an adult, I watched that movie and I'm like, those two girls are wrestling in whipped cream in their underpants at this high school party. These kids are, and they're not, I don't think that they were seniors. Maybe they were, maybe they were like 17. Maybe some of them were 18. But most of them are definitely underage, and they're drinking, and they are getting, rowdy and a little bit too frisky with one another. And as an adult, I watched that and I'm like, man, this movie is like not appropriate for children. But as a child, I had no idea. No idea.
I just found something.
Okay.
So on, I kid you not, geocaching.com, prop man cave. And I'm going to give you the description. This hidden adventure is little known to most Mission Ridge visitors. If skiing to this location, you should be able to handle at least a single black diamond level of difficulty. So this is like out in the middle of nowhere.
Jeez.
It can be hard to find your way since there is really only one ski path that gets there. At the bottom of the bomber chute, the tree chute section, you ski down to a gully that shoots back up the hill on a fairly easy to spot trail. That's the trail that we took as kids. Follow the single track trail back and veer right back of the rocks. You'll likely have to sidestep up the hill or remove your sighting equipment. Once you have the coordinates of the cave, the cave is easy to spot. Slide or scramble down the hole. When at the bottom, use your flashlight and look up for the container. More details are in the hint. This cave isn't too tight as caves go, but if you are claustrophobic, you may be able to take it on. While many people share collective memory of scary stories from their youth, such as The Hook or Sasquatch.
Okay.
Sasquatch is not scary. I mean, don't mess with Sasquatch.
Yeah, don't mess with Sasquatch.
He's not scary.
Other captivating tales, the Wenatchee Valley actually has its own frightening personification in the Prop Man. Over the last 50 years, an often repeated story has been shared across campfires of north central Washington. It is based on the premise that one of the crew members of the doomed Flight 22, the B-24 crash at Mission Ridge in September 1944, survived the crash and, in a crazed state of mind, haunted the Wenatchee Mountains for many years later. The legend has it that this is the cave where Prop Man sleeps. I'm freaking out right now. That's on the Google.
That's terrifying.
Okay.
So good, man.
I'm glad this has happened because that has kind of character has been in my lexicon for a very long time. Like, I would tell the story as a camp counselor to kids in Washington when I worked at Y camps. I didn't think anything of it.
You're just like, this is
That's
like
a cool
just like you're saying,
story.
like the hook, right?
Yeah, like the hook.
It's one of those like classic campfire stories.
There's
a piece of metal in the woods for some reason, and so somebody made up the story of Prop Man to go along with it.
Yeah.
Only no, that's not the case. Prop Man is for real and
is taking your children.
Yeah, he will take your children. Only the boys.
Only the boys.
The strapping young lads.
Yeah.
And
well, I don't know. And
off
Andre
of
was
Angel
very
Falls.
tiny, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But he was
Maybe
white
that's
as
why
this.
you left him alone
Yeah.
in the end.
Yeah, maybe.
It's no good, man. It's no good.
It's not good at all.
So what have we accomplished this evening?
What we've learned.
We've learned that ghosts are real.
Okay.
That there are creepy propeller-headed men.
Well, that makes it sound like he's got a little thing like this. It's literally like a thing in his. Yeah. Oh.
And don't put bananas in dumbwaiters.
Yeah.
Don't mess with a dumbwaiter at all. That's my opinion.
Look, if you live in a house with a dumbwaiter, a smoking room, or a dirt basement, move.
Yeah.
And there was a plane crash like just right outside.
Never have a full floor-to-ceiling wall of mirrors in your room.
Never.
Unless you're a dancer and you have a dance studio
Then
in your
fine.
house,
Oh, yeah,
there's no reason to have that.
Yeah.
That's just weird, and it's wrong. And
I also want to know.
How vain are you? Jeez.
If you are out there and you are a Washingtonian and heard of the Prop Man story, because I thought this was just a Camp Sispis thing. I thought like this is just counselors jerking our chains, right? I want to know. Like what was your version of the story? Because yeah. I want to also. In my life, I wanted to go back to that camp. But
why would you want to?
But yeah, now it's like
no, don't.
I wanted to hike up to Angel Falls again because it was so cool.
Now is that where that soda factory?
Yeah, that's where the soda.
Oh my god, I'm never going to that soda factory now.
There was an Angel Falls soda factory. I guess it's closed down now.
Yeah.
I totally forgot to get Thomas Kemper soda when I was in Seattle.
Well.
So annoying.
Damn. Okay.
It's the best soda. Oh my goodness.
She's a soda connoisseur.
Have you ever had Thomas Kemper?
I have, yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, so good. They're black cherry. That's the best black cherry soda you'll ever have.
Okay,
that's true. Okay. I haven't had a lot of black cherries.
Next time on the ThunderQuack Roundtable is sodas, apparently.
Yeah.
We can do that.
We can do sodas.
I don't.
Soda cast.
I don't like
podcast.
soda.
ThunderQuack.
No.
You know what? Podcasts already got to be taken.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Soda cast is probably already taken.
Okay.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay, guys, we're scary.
Ooh.
Okay. I think that's it.
So that's it.
Yeah.
So I thank you for those who watched us live. All 3 of you.
It was up to 9.
Was it up to 9?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you for all the people.
When it was mute.
You scared them away.
Yeah, I think everybody's taking bathroom breaks after.
Yeah, I really gotta pee. I don't want to pee by myself.
Changing their pants, but especially those who are watching in Washington. There's somebody who's got like a Wi-Fi signal out in the middle of the woods in Washington watching us, and they're just like,
"Didn't you want to hike to Angel Falls tomorrow?"
It's not good. Thank you guys for following along with us. My eyes.
Sorry.
In our spooky Halloween roundtable. Where can they find Double X Files?
You can find us on the internets at doublexfiles.com. You can find us on Facebook at doublexfiles. You can find us on Twitter at doublexfiles, and you can find us on Tumblr at doublexfiles, but the whole word.
Yeah.
The bad F word.
Yeah.
Because we're naughty. We're not a children's.
No.
No.
Not a fan. No,
but if you're a kid, you shouldn't be watching the X-Files anyway.
Exactly.
It's super scary.
Exactly.
It's adult themed.
It will mess you up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Find us on Facebook. Email us. Find us spooky stories. If you know that is too. I'm scary. If you've heard of the Prop Man story, please email us because I gotta talk that out a little bit more.
doublexfiles@gmail.com.
Double X Files podcast
at
gmail.com.
Okay.
And if they want to tell you spooky stories about, if they need to contact you because they have a ghost mic, and you feel like you could handle it,
They need you to bring over your same mics.
Yeah.
Just plant them in the yard.
Yeah. How can they where are you?
Well, you can go to rebelspodcast.com. You can go to quiverpodcast.com. Pullbox Podcast, I technically have the email, but that's really more Curtis's thing than mine.
So don't email that one.
So don't email that one. You could go to starkillerbase.com, which is my new Star Wars website, because I don't already have enough Star Wars.
Or the ThunderQuack.
Just thunderquack.com.
We have a Facebook page that you can catch up on cool stuff like this. Yeah. And we post all the podcasts there. Yeah. We also have a Patreon. Yep.
Patreon.com/ThunderQuack, which Patreon is what keeps the lights on. Unfortunately, I guess you guys aren't contributing enough to Patreon. We have to turn on the lights.
This flashlight takes a lot of costly batteries.
It does. Crystal's gonna go to use that flashlight and it's just gonna blink out. She's gonna be like, "What?
Like super big."
Who is using my flashlight? Because I never have any reason to use
super big.
That's not true.
Quick.
Sometimes I grill in the dark. Sometimes I go out.
But then you need one of these.
You gotta get the barbecue.
You gotta get one of these.
Oh, I should use. Crystal has a headlamp for running, so I should be using that headlamp.
So for Christmas,
it's really hard to hold the flashlight and then flip burgers at the same time.
Because you can't put this in your mouth.
Like the mistake that everybody always makes, or at least it's the one that I always make, so I assume everybody else makes it because why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Is that you're barbecuing, it's flame, it's gonna generate enough light that you're gonna be able to see what you're doing. Nope, just the burgers.
Yep,
all you can see is the burgers. You can't see anything on either side of you, you can't see anything around you, because when you're looking at the burgers, your eyes adjust to that light of the flames, and so everything around you is darkness.
Burger vision.
Everything. So if you learned anything from this amazing roundtable we had, everything around you is darkness.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, that's good. That's a good way to.
So, happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
And we'll catch you guys on the next roundtable. In November.
Yeah, we should do something. The three of us should do another spooky one.
In November?
Oh no!
No, but soon.
Soon.
Yeah. We'll do more spooky ones. I like doing these ones where we sit down and we get spooky and mysterious.
Okay.
We will do that in the future. Thank you guys for watching. And we'll catch you next time.
Bye! Stop broadcasting!